Howdy, guys. Welcome to night 36 of Big Brother All Stars. This is Cliff Notes from outside the house. Hope you all had a fantastic Wednesday. It is now Thursday morning. We've got eviction tonight. Seems like it's pretty much foregone conclusion that Bailey's out the door. We'll see. Weird things have happened, but I think Bailey's out the door. This HOH is going to be pretty important. It's conversations tonight leading up to it. People talking, a little game talk this evening, talking about the HOH, who's playing for it, who's worried, who may be putting up targets, concerns about double evictions, things like that. So we're going to get right into it and give you all the scoop. So let's start off a little bit earlier yesterday evening in the comic room. This is Kevin, Davon, and Bailey are talking. Davon and Bailey are telling Kevin, saying, hey, it's going around that you may be throwing comps and that you may have one of the secret powers. Kevin saying, I do not have a secret power, guys. I don't have one. He's denying it, and he doesn't have one. But he's denying that. But yeah, a little concerned that people don't think he's been trying for these HOHs. Kevin probably is going to be one I would expect to fight for the HOH tomorrow, so that we have that conversation. Another conversation, Ian and David are also now in the comic room with Kevin and Bailey and Davon. The house guests have been talking about the possibility of tonight being a double eviction. We know as viewers that it's not going to be, but they don't know it. They're thinking that is the case. Ian, I'm just continually impressed with Ian, his analytical skills. Ian says, nah, it's not going to be a double eviction. He says, we've got these secret powers that are out there. Don't know exactly what they are, but you got to give heads up and things. And with these secret powers, it would screw up a live episode with a double eviction too much. There's no way they're going to have a double eviction while these secret powers are out here. So it's going to be at least a few more weeks. Good job, Ian. He figured out, again, I'm just continually impressed the way he can look at this game and analytically figure out a lot of things. So he's correct, but everyone else is still thinking it could be a double eviction. So anyway, just want to throw that in there. In the photo room, this is David and Enzo. They have a conversation for a while. They're talking about, they keep seeing Danny and Christmas together all throughout the house, all during the day. They kept seeing them together. They're worried that the two of them might be putting together some kind of a deal. Enzo, he's a little bit nervous as well. He's saying, man, yeah, they better not, I better not see Davon and Christmas suddenly working together. And David's saying, that's not going to happen. Enzo's saying, it better not happen after last night and all. I don't want to see them working together. Enzo is also saying that Davon better not start working with Danny and Nicole, since he says that they were laughing at Davon while she was crying during the argument with Christmas. Now, I've got to say, I don't remember seeing, I watched that fight, I don't remember seeing them laughing, and actually saw Danny trying to console Davon and console Christmas later in the evening. So I didn't see that, but I didn't see them laughing. It could be that Enzo is just trying to put that out there to David, just to try to keep David a little more distant from Nicole and Danny, and make sure that he stays closer to end zone and the other side. Could be. I don't know. I didn't see a particular conversation, but it was brought up. Another bit of that talk. David is saying that he said, "Hey, I talked to Ian. I told him that I'm hearing that Ian has been throwing these competitions, and Ian got really upset, agitated. I think is the word he used, and." That kind of explains why for the rest of the evening during the line feeds, I saw Ian talking to a lot of people saying, oh, I'm going to play so hard. If it's endurance, you're not ever getting me off the wall. I will win this competition. So Ian is worried that people are thinking he's been going below the radar, not really competing in the HOHs. So he wants to turn it on. Another person I do think is going to be playing hard in the HOH tonight. We shall see. All right, in the comic room, Bailey and Davon are talking. Bailey is telling Davon, saying, look, Davon, this HOH, whatever it's going to be, if it comes down to it, let David or Kevin or Enzo or even Tyler, if one of them's about to win, let them win it. Go ahead and let them have this competition, because none of them are going to put you up. And especially if it's Tyler, it's going to give Tyler a chance to prove himself when he doesn't put you up again. Put your money where your mouth is kind of deal. And if you do that, then that means that you can compete for the next HOH, which again, they're thinking could be a double eviction. Won't be, but still. So she's saying, let those people win it so you can still fight the following week for an HOH. Bailey's saying the only person that may put you up, Davon, that you've got to worry about tomorrow or tonight is Danny. And I kind of like this idea of preserving yourself for the next HOH win. But if Davon can win, I think she needs to. One, she's never won a competition. She came so close last time. She needs that win just for her own self-confidence, just to give her something for a resume, and to allow her to more easily consolidate power, bring some people in, and make sure she's a core part of whatever decisions are going forward. So I think she needs to go for it, but I get what Bailey is saying. All right, another little bit of the talk. Apparently earlier today, before the live feeds we're talking about now, Christmas went on a bit of an apology tour to Bailey, and Davon said, hey, sorry it went the way it did. It shouldn't have. I apologize. Davon is mad that Christmas told Bailey to enjoy her last day, but Bailey says she didn't really say it in a malicious way. I think Davon very much is playing by that old analogy, forgive, but I'm not going to forget. Earlier, she told Christmas, said, look, I wasn't coming from you. If I win another HOH, I'm not putting you on the block. Davon came back and said, Christmas, you're good. You're good. And she told Bailey later, she said, I told her she was good. I didn't say she was safe. So if Davon wins HOH, I think Christmas may need to watch out. That's okay. That will be fun to watch, won't it be? But anyway, so there you go. In the photo room, this is Ian and Enzo and David are talking. They're saying that they think the HOH, Ian is saying he thinks the HOH is going to be endurance. He's going to win it. He said, man, I'll do whatever it takes. I'm going to be up on that wall or whatever. You will not get me off of that wall. And he also is talking about this whole rumor that's been going around that Ian is Christmas's untouchable. He says, no, that's garbage. I didn't even know what untouchable was before, and I'm not her untouchable, but people keep saying it. All right, in the key room, all right, we got to talk about this. And in the key room, Memphis, Nicole, Cody, and Danny. Memphis is making fun of Ian knowing so many words. Really? That's what you're going to make fun of? Learn as many words as you can. That's not a bad thing. But he's making fun of Ian. He's saying he's going to try and intimidate him as much as he can. He says that Ian is really freaking him out, is the wording he used. Danny's laughing, saying, oh, I'm going to get Ian to sit on the side of your bed in the middle of the night. And Memphis says, if you do that, I'm going to kick him. Guys, it's just not a good look for these house guests. It's me. This isn't the first time they've had this type of conversation, making fun of Ian and his rocking and all of that. You need to cut it out, guys. These house guests are going to really regret this when they get out. Not just because of social media, but because when they watch it, they're going to realize how mean this sounds and how mean these conversations are. And I know they're going to feel bad about it. But in the meanwhile, they just have to cut it out. I don't like hearing this talk at all. I am huge team Ian. This just makes me cheer for Ian even more. So go Ian, go. You and Isaac, y'all take this thing. All right, enough of that. I'm trying to stay positive. All right, in the love room, Davon and Kevin are talking. They're talking about what to do going forward. Davon says, "I know Christmas has the power, and I'm pretty sure that Tyler, I kind of worked it out now. I forgot it. That someone else on the other side has the power as well. I think it was Tyler. How upset is she going to be when she finds out that David has the best power of all three, and didn't use it last week, which I get, but didn't use it last week and isn't letting Davon know that he's got this power? That's not going to go over well. She's considering putting them up together. Kevin is saying, look, if I win HOH, I'm putting up Cody and someone else. I mean, Nicole, at first he says Nicole, and he said, well, maybe not Nicole. Maybe Tyler, maybe Danny. The talk goes back to Tyler's move to go on the block and whether he ever actually intended to actually do it. Kevin mentions that. Davon says, he'd be crazy to have offered that if he didn't really mean it, to bring in the cause and all that. There is no way he would do that. I agree with her. I think Tyler was absolutely serious as well. But Kevin is wondering, well, maybe Tyler made the offer because he knew that Christmas wouldn't take him up on it. That's what I was getting at. Maybe, but I actually do think Tyler was a little bit was serious about it. Just my own personal opinion, but there you go. They're talking about the entire rest of the house being aligned against them. They're thinking that Christmas and Enzo are at the bottom of this huge alliance. And Kevin's saying, look, we may be able to get into this alliance, break it up through Christmas. If we can bring her in with us, and she's low on a totem pole, maybe we can use her to make something work. Davon is saying, do I have to pretend to be friends with Christmas? Yes, you do, Davon. Do that. You can betray her later, and it'll be quite the moment, but you got to be friendly now and make it work. But keep this in mind, the conversation earlier where Enzo was saying, they're not seeing Dave working with Christmas. So we'll see what happens with that, right? Davon's wanting to go after Tyler and Cody, but she thinks because, they've got a power and just because they've got votes and everything, she really needs to put them up together. Davon is saying she doesn't want to work with David. Kevin is saying, you got to try, Davon. And she's saying, he's already burned me twice. I don't want to do it. He says, but I may put him up as a pawn. That would be so horrible, because if she puts him up as a pawn, what if David uses this as power, gets flushed out on Davon's HOH? We don't want to go there. Don't use David as a pawn, please. But she talked about it. Kevin is talking about, hey, we need to give David very specific orders. He's a soldier. If we can keep him in line by giving specific instructions, he'll be great. If we don't do that, he's going to go rogue. I agree with Kevin. I think that's a good point. All right, another conversation. This is in the bathroom. Cody and Memphis and Enzo. All right. Cody is saying that, hey, only about half the house even wants to win this HOH. Really? I've been saying this is one of the most important HOHs of the season so far, and I still believe that. I think we'll see potentially some real power swings based on what happened. But he says only about half the house even wants to play. He's mentioning how bad Ian wants to play the game, and Memphis says, go for it, buddy. Let him win that HOH, and we'll send him home right afterwards in the double eviction or the next HOH. So you go for it, buddy. Yeah, Ian, I'm with Memphis. Go for it. I want to see you win this thing. I'd be great, wouldn't it? So they don't seem to be taking it seriously as I think they should be taking it. They may pay the price. I want to see a little power disruption. I want to see some swings back and forth. We need to shake this house up a little bit, right? As viewers, we got to see this, right? So they aren't too worried about it. Another in the bathroom, Bailey and Davon are talking. Davon is saying, Bailey, when you leave, it's going to be hard to work with David. I think he's going to be a problem because I really think he's going to be taking shots at me. I don't think so. I think he's going to be working with Davon more than she thinks. But we'll see. Bailey is saying, look, even if he does, it's not going to be immediate. Try to work with him. I think y'all can make some things happen, and just be wary, but he's not going to do anything in the short term. In the photo room, Ian and Tyler are talking. Tyler is saying, hey, Christmas and Davon, they're going to continue to go for each other, so we need to keep them here for as long as possible. Why get rid of one or the other? Let them. We know we'll be safe. As long as the two of them are both in the house, they'll be shooting for each other, so keep them on board. Ian seems to be in agreement with that. It really seems like there is a new, drum roll please, another alliance being formed. There was a little bit of talk of the insurance policy, perhaps the name of this new alliance. Is it a final two? I don't know that those words were actually vocalized, but it certainly seems like Ian and Tyler are trying to tighten up their relationship and work closely together. So you've got that brand new one to mark on your whiteboard. Hope it's an erasable marker because these alliances come and go, right? All right, and then finally, after all that conversation, we get into a lot of non-game action. A lot of people went to bed early, but you still have a core group that got up after other people were in bed, and they're talking. Cody scared Danny a couple of times, jumping out as she came in her room. She's been trying to get him back. He scared her a lot more than she's been able to get him so far. Kevin is talking about adopting kids and the process of how you do that. We're talking about Survivor. Just a lot of non-game conversation. Everyone's trying to just chill out a little bit until we get HOH tomorrow night. Once we see who wins the HOH, it's going to get exciting, guys. So, tonight's going to be fun. I'm excited. I hope it's an HOH that we get to see the final result. There's been talk it's going to be an endurance. If that's the case, it could go way on into the night. We may not know until much later who's actually won it, but I'm going to be watching. All right, guys, y'all have a fantastic Thursday. Enjoy the episode tonight. I'll see y'all in about 24 hours on Friday morning. It's KD143. Cheers, guys. Bye.